Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. We're about to jump into a seriously fascinating journey, exploring one of the most resilient, just incredibly diverse groups of animals on our planet, lizards. We're going to start out in the wild, looking at their mind-bending biology and evolutionary secrets. And then we're going to bring it right back into your living room, breaking down the exact science of practical home care. It's kind of like a complete A to Z guide, and I literally cannot wait to get started. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. 1. Meet the marvelous lizards. 2. The chameleon's colorful secrets. 3. The magic of regeneration. 4. Lizard species in Turkey. 5. Creating a lizard home. And finally, 6. Feeding and daily care. Chapter 1. Meet the marvelous lizards. Let's set the stage for this ancient and super diverse group. Just take a second and look at that number. Over 6,000. There are more than 6,000 recognized lizard species globally. I mean, this isn't just some small niche branch of the animal kingdom we're talking about. This is a story of absolute evolutionary success. They've adapted to almost every environment you can think of, developing these completely unique physical traits that let them thrive where other animals would just, well, they wouldn't survive at all. You can literally find them on every single continent on Earth, well, except for the freezing extremes of Antarctica, of course. And the physical diversity within those 6,000 species, it's staggering. You've got tiny, delicate geckos measuring just a few centimeters, all the way up to the massive Komodo dragon, a 3-meter-long giant that actually hunts large mammals. But, the one thing uniting almost all of them? They're ectothermic. That means they are cold-blooded survivors who rely totally on their outside environment to regulate their body temperature. Chapter 2. The Chameleon's Colorful Secrets. Let's unlock some biological magic, shall we? So it's the classic question, right? Do chameleons just change color to blend in? Like if you put a green chameleon on a brown branch, you totally expect it to turn brown. But is it just to blend in with their background? Honestly, this is probably one of the most widely believed myths in the entire animal kingdom, and it's definitely time we bust it wide open. Okay, here's the reality check. The crucial point here is that color change is actually a highly complex language. It's a biological thermostat, not just some simple hiding trick. I mean, sure, camouflage can play a tiny role, but the truth is their skin color is actively controlled by their nervous system. They're changing color to absorb or reflect heat for temperature regulation, to show their mood, or to communicate with other chameleons. Like warning off a rival or signaling that they're looking for a mate. It's all communication. And this right here brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. A chameleon's skin is a direct window into its internal state. So a calm, relaxed chameleon, it might show deep greens or earthy tones, naturally harmonizing with the forest. But if that exact same chameleon gets angry or feels threatened, its nervous system triggers this rapid shift to vibrant, really aggressive colors. Even their health is broadcast right there on their skin. A sick or weak chameleon will often look pale or kind of dull, simply because it literally lacks the energy to manipulate its pigment cells. Now, you might be wondering how they actually do this. Let's look at the mechanics. Their skin is built in 4 very specialized layers. First, you have a clear outer layer. Then, right under that, you've got cells packed with red and yellow pigments. Below that are the layers that reflect blue and white light. But the real magic? That happens at the very bottom with the melanophore cells. These cells contain dark melanin, and they have these long, octopus-like arms reaching up through the other layers. So, when the chameleon needs to darken its skin, it pumps melanin up through these arms, spreading it over the reflective layers. It's exactly like how dark storm clouds roll in and just block out a blue sky. I mean, it is an absolute masterpiece of cellular engineering. All right, moving on to Chapter 3, the magic of regeneration, how they rebuild the body. Let's talk about the word blastema. When a creature like, say, an axolotl loses a limb, it doesn't just form a regular scar like we would. Instead, it forms a blastema. That's a localized mass of special cells right at the site of the injury. And these cells, they rapidly divide and differentiate, which actually allows the animal to completely regrow bone, muscle, and nerve tissue. It is literally a localized medical miracle happening right in nature. No big deal, right? Now, we all know many lizards are famous for dropping their tails to escape predators, right? And then they just grow a new one. But animals that share their ecosystems take it so much further. Salamanders can regrow entire limbs. And amazingly, certain fish, like the zebrafish, can even regenerate damaged heart tissue through cellular division. It's wild. Understanding these regenerative mechanisms is actually a massive focus for human medical research today. Next up, Chapter 4, Lizard Species in Turkey. Let's look at some local biodiversity. 70. Because of its totally unique geographic position and incredibly diverse climates, ranging from lush forests all the way to dry steppes, Turkey is home to around 70 different species of lizards. That is a ton. This incredibly rich biodiversity makes it an absolute hotspot, a really vital region for herpetologists and nature enthusiasts alike. Now let's clear up a really common misconception right here. Because some of these species have snake-like appearances, including actual legless lizards, people often get pretty freaked out by them. But as the research clearly states, there are absolutely no venomous lizard species in Turkey. None. Zero. In fact, they're incredibly beneficial to have around. They serve as vital natural predators that help control populations of harmful insects. Basically, they're a crucial, completely harmless part of the local ecosystem. Chapter 5, Creating a Lizard Home. Building a Microclimate. So here is the big question. Can you actually keep these fascinating creatures at home? Well, yes, you can. But the real question is, are you truly ready for the challenge? You see, different lizard species require vastly different terrarium setups. A desert-dwelling gecko needs a completely different environment than, say, a tropical iguana. You're not just buying a pet here. You are committing to maintaining a highly specific artificial microclimate. Building this mini ecosystem is super precise work. Remember, because they're cold-blooded, they rely entirely on you for environmental regulation. It's all on you. You need dedicated heat lamps to provide a basking zone of 26 to 32 degrees Celsius. You have to provide 8 to 12 hours of specialized UVB lighting every single day. They need that to synthesize vitamin D and process calcium. Humidity? That needs to be strictly monitored, sometimes up to 80% for tropical species. And even the flooring, the substrate, must be carefully chosen based on the specific species, just to prevent impaction and serious disease. It's a lot. And guys, here is a very important warning directly from the source material. Just because an animal is amazing, like a chameleon with its independently moving eyes and that lightning-fast sticky tongue, it doesn't mean it makes an easy house pet. Actually, scratch that, they are notoriously difficult. Chameleons are incredibly sensitive to stress, and they require a massive diet. We're talking 20 to 30 live insects every single day. For the vast majority of people, these stunning creatures are much, much better observed in their natural wild habitats than kept in a glass box in a living room. And that brings us to Chapter 6, Feeding and Daily Care. Let's talk diet and maintenance. A lizard's diet is strictly dictated by its species, and you absolutely cannot mix this up. Carnivores, like the super popular leopard gecko, require a strictly live diet. Crickets, mealworms, roaches, you have to be comfortable handling live bugs, for sure. On the flip side, herbivores, like iguanas, they require a fresh daily salad of leafy greens, spinach, carrots, and apples. But no matter what they eat, almost all captive lizards require their food to be tested with calcium and vitamin D3 supplements to prevent severe bone diseases. And daily care? That goes way beyond just dropping some food in a tank and walking away. You must clean their water bowls daily. You've got to design the terrarium with ample hiding spots, because a lizard that can't hide is a lizard that is constantly stressed out. You need to keep the whole environment calm, avoiding sudden movements and loud noises. Plus, you need to have a specialized exotic vet on speed dial for regular checkups. Ultimately, you have to become an absolute expert at reading your animal. You'll be constantly monitoring their skin color, behavior, and appetite for any early signs of stress or illness. All of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. Are you really ready to replicate a complex, wild ecosystem right in your own living room? Lizards are incredibly rewarding, mesmerizing creatures. They literally bridge the gap between ancient dinosaurs and modern biology. But exotic pet ownership is an immense responsibility. So whether you choose to dedicate a corner of your home to a gecko, or you just want to appreciate the harmless insect hunters out in your local garden, I really hope this explainer has given you a newfound respect for these incredible survivors. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and keep exploring.